Hello, and welcome again to the review with Heather. I am Heather of Heather's Passion Academy, and I am here today to review season 8, episode 6 of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Is a lot in this episode. I just think this whole season is just a lot. So let's just get into it because, yeah. And let me just say this before I get started, y'all. Some people just don't need to drink. That's all I'm going to say. That is all I'm going to say about this episode. So let's go ahead with the first scene. So this is continuing from the last episode. Tricia and Ken are still continuing their conversation about marriage. Tricia says she has the fear of being married again, but she does want to marry Ken. Ken lets her know that he is here for the long haul, and he says that, in the back of his head, it feels like sometimes she just doesn't want to get a divorce. Now, what we want to know, Tricia, is what is the holdup? Because something, y'all, it's something you're not saying, and we want to know what it is that you're trying to hide from. We're gonna find out this season, and if we don't find out this season, we're gonna find out next season, definitely. So Tricia says after talking back and forth with him and understanding where he comes from, that she will move forward with filing for divorce. That's good to know, but Tricia, 5 years? Okay. Well, over at Chris and Nell's house, of course, Nell is going through her large closet talking about how disorganized it is. I love how y'all set these things up just to have something to talk about, because those are definitely first world problems. Uh, and she was trying to get Chris to agree that they need to renovate their closet. And of course, he agrees. So they sit down and they talk. I thought I had a better picture of them sitting at there. It doesn't matter. Um, and then they talk about her upcoming birthday party. And of course, she wants to know who all has been invited. Me, I want to know who all coming because I may not show up. Anyway, she wants to know who all has been invited because she doesn't want her party ruined. And I'm like, Chad, if you inviting anybody from this season, you might as well call it ruined, because that's what they do. They need to have a scene. Like, I don't know what you know about doing these shows, but that's what they want, is a ruined party. Anyway, she says Tisha and Stormy don't necessarily get along, and she thinks that they really do need to have a conversation to be on the same page. Then they also talk about their kids being at the party, because as we know in the um blogs, out here in the universe, there's a lot going on between them and Chris's oldest daughter, Lexi. There's been a lot going on behind the scenes. So they just want to know how's this going, basically how's this going to pan out when it comes to this party. Who all, who their kids are coming, if any of them come. It's just a lot going on. So those, that's what be happening in families, honey. So over in the next scene, Cammy and Maurice, Tisha and Marceau are out having a double date slash meeting. Kimmy lets Marceau know that there's a project that she'd like for him to work on. But being honest, she has a little trepidation about the fact that they don't necessarily seem to prioritize meeting deadlines. Um, and so there's a little back and forth where he's telling her that, he can get project done with the proper paperwork or technical drawings. She says that, uh, she knows how she can be. She's a little pushy. She's a little bit more pushy, I guess, than they like, I guess. And she doesn't want to mess up the relationship that they have. And then Marceau points out in the confessional that there's a difference between doing a paid project and a pet project. And that's true. Like when you're doing your own stuff, you kind of take more time, and you can kind of just slow things down. When you have something to do and you have a client in place, you're going to make sure that you meet those deadlines. So I don't really know what their business model look like. It's just one of those things. I'm guessing that you just have to, know your people. And I know that she wants to keep the business part in the family. I know that that's something that's very important to her, but you know, you have to decide what you really want out of this business deal. You know, Tisha pipes up with maybe he don't want to may have it. Do you even want to bill for that? Girl, hush. Hush. Also, Maurice don't say much of nothing. You know, he don't never bag his wife the way he need to, but mm, we know. Anyway, um I don't know. Maurice tells them that they've decided that, no, she's decided that he will place a bid like any other company. And she was like, listen, this ain't just a conversation. This, you did it too. You a part of this decision. And I find it interesting. He always want to leave her on the hook for stuff. Very interesting. Um, Marcel says he has no problem with that because you're gonna look at everybody else and we're gonna still be the best. You know, treat me like regular clients. Kimmy says in the confessional, the proof is in the projects. And if the strip mall that they have isn't done, Tisha's office hasn't been done. Scott Manor child is just, we've been talking about Scott Manor since the show started, I feel like. And there she has a point to it, but I also think at the same time, look at the proof that, with other projects they have with other clients. So true enough, they're taking their time on their personal stuff, but what are they doing for other clients that are paid? Because that makes a difference. Because if the clients are paying, then they're gonna get the stuff done. They got the materials. If they're doing their own stuff, it's coming out of their own pocket. So it may just take a little bit longer. We don't know. We'll see. So over here in this other scene, Ken and Courtney are at the gym together, and I'm interested to know, maybe they brought in Ken so that Courtney could have someone to film with, because he just doesn't seem like he's on that same he's in the same situation with everyone else. Like, I think those guys, the other three guys, Martell, Marceau, and um Maurice, they kind of have a rapport with each other from the past. And then, you get Fletcher, Chris Fletcher, and he had worked with them on the real estate side. So Courtney he probably just doesn't gel well with anyone. So this was probably a good opportunity to bring someone in that he could film with and feel comfortable with, because he seems like a man of little words. Anyway, they discuss how Ken loves Trish, but moving to the next step is scary. Courtney says to him that marriage is scary, but it's also fun. I agree. They talk about Trisha still being married and how that affects their relationship. Because you can't really, let your guard down when she is still entangled with you, and also has not moved the divorce along. So I can see how that can be scary. He asked if they will still get engaged while he's waiting on divorce, and he said, "No, I'm not touching that until we see some papers. I need some paper signed." Wholeheartedly agree. I think it's okay. I think that even if she had separation papers at this point, that there would be more of a incentive for him to move forward. But it just seems like they just moved away from each other or whatever. And like I said, back in the day, that's what people did. When they was done, they was just done. But now you gotta have some legal papers in place, and because you don't know what may happen. What if one of them passed away? They still tied into each other. And what if the house that they're living in still has both people's name? It can get messy. So Courtney asked him, "What if it takes another 5 years?" He said, "I won't be waiting 5 years." And really, he's waited too. And yeah, so the clock is ticking. The conversation switches to her weird interaction with Martell. That's Trisha's weird interaction with Martell. He says that the problem is they know him. They've seen him recently, and y- you know, he's just been around. They are in his orbit, basically. And the way he keeps handling this situation, that he was handling the situation with Trisha, acting like he just met her and all this stuff, or that there's something awkward going on, that's it makes it seem like they have something to hide. And so Courtney just lets him know perhaps he just needs to have a sit down conversation with Martell. I say, don't even fool with Martell. because we all know Martell is always trying to make something happen that's not. He wants people to think that there's something going on. Um, that's my opinion of it. I just think that you have to look at who you're dealing with, and y'all dealing with somebody that likes to involve everyone in the fact that he has issues with misbehaving in several ways. Because he likes to throw around the word side chick. He likes to throw away around other words that make it seem like he's trying to put people on their level, on his level. And people like that are dangerous because they'll throw you under the bus at any time in order to make themselves look better to someone else. And then people who are constantly sympathetic to him, he gonna throw y'all under the bus too. Just letting y'all know. Next. So the meat of this episode is dedicated to Nell's birthday party. So we see the couples headed to the venue in their little party buses. You got Stormy, Courtney, Tricia, and Ken on the bus together. Stormy asks if Tricia and Ken are ready for the party. Tricia says, "Well, I'm a bit anxious because I heard that Nell could be a little bit rowdy and in your face." And Stormy said, "Who told you that?" And she was like, "Tisha." And she was like, "No, I don't have that experience of her at all." And now, she gives more of a motherly vibe, kind of TT vibes that I kind of aspire to have. If she's in your face, it's out of love. And so she asked, like, what kind of tone did Tisha have when you said that? Like, what was she trying to get to? And Trisha said she had more of like a watch out tone. Um, and so Stormy said, "Well, if she said that about Nell, what did she say about me?" And she said Tisha basically said Stormy could be wishy-washy. And she was like, "Nah, I've been pretty much me the whole time." And I agree. Stormy's pretty consistent. Um, she blows up. I've seen over even though I did not do reviews over the past couple of seasons, the seasons that I, picked one or two episodes out of it, seemed like she would maybe have it out with a couple of people, but then also be in a space to apologize. Now, I do think that she and Melody need to um, hash it out, but she gonna want to stick beside her mama, and I understand it. But that's the only way you're gonna be able to mend that thing between you and Melody. I just think that I hope they can get that settled because I thought they had a good friendship. Um, but it went sideways, but it may just be because of the show. Anyway, Courtney says to them, look, you can't believe everything you hear, basically take everything with a grain of salt, especially something that Tisha's saying, because Tisha acts mostly out of emotion. She doesn't, yeah. If it's not her husband saying whatever, then, anyway. So the Scots are riding together and they talk about the text Stormy sent to Tisha. Now, this is a non-issue. Let me just be clear. This is a non-issue that they are making a big issue about. And so Stormy sends Tisha an invite to the Lovers and Friends Gala. And she said, and so Marcel like, read the text, read it out now. And I'm like, boy, cut it out. And it says, I'd love for you and Marcel to attend. And they're like, "How? It's so weird to extend an invite to somebody we ain't talked to since the reunion. We was yelling and everything." And then the Maurice and Kimmy was over there like, "Yeah, that's just weird. Y'all was yelling at each other. Y'all know how this show go." And I wish y'all quit acting like y'all don't know how this stuff works. I just don't see how it's that weird since everybody knows they're coworkers. Y'all know y'all place. Y'all the only ones that are in-laws. So everybody else is coworkers. Whatever. Marceau says he wants to have a conversation, but it's very obvious those two just want all the smoke. It's too much. Back over here in this bus, they talk about how they hope no one starts acting weird. And then Courtney says, "Well, I only really like Chris and Martell." Courtney, mm-mm. You can like Chris a little bit, but Chris and Martell are friends for a reason. I'm gonna leave it at that. Stormy asked, "What about Maurice? He don't do anything." He said, He didn't like the things that he said regarding his relationship with Kimmy when she was going through chemo. And last season it was a big uproar because Maurice went and got on a social media platform. I don't even know who he was interviewing with, and basically said his wife will take one for the team when it comes to his sexual needs while she was in the middle of chemo and not having any energy and everything. So even if she didn't want to do the things to help him with his needs, she would do it. And that's what he likes about her. And I don't like that about him. That the only thing that he worried about. And she keeps, and here's the thing, Kimmy always take up for Maurice. Not Maurice never takes up for Kimmy. But he's like, she does the thing. And she's like, well, see, I needed it too. You know what? Sometimes people just deserve each other. Anyway, over at the birthday party, we see that the Fletcher's kids were doing last minute setup for the party. And then the Scotts walk in. They were like, surprise. But the surprise was really nobody there. But, everybody just kind of chilling and waiting. The club look a little empty. And they like, well, are we early? So they say their hellos to the kids. And Kimmy, was asking them, hey, is Lexi coming? And Lexi, again, is the oldest daughter. So, they want to know, is she coming? Little Miss Tisha over there, she ain't coming. She said she ain't coming around nobody. Y'all ain't here to interview. Tisha, get your stuff together. Leave these people alone. Maurice and Marcel said, I know y'all got a little bit of news going on, and y'all are in the spotlight when it's coming to blogs and everything. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. Kimmy then says, of course, she reached out to make sure that Nell was good, but how do they think the parents handle the situation as parents? They just kind of asking the kids how they feel everything went. One of the other daughters said, well, she wasn't phased at all. Now, I guess she's talking about the daughter or whatever. And they're trying to, the thing about it is everybody is a little bothered about something. So there's no merit in being unfazed about things, especially when there's a breakdown in the family. So they're trying to get an idea of whether or not there's reconciliation in the future. And the kids say, well, it was a lot of lies told, but it's going to have to take willingness from everyone. I agree. When you have fallouts with your families and everything, everybody has to be accountable and everybody has to be there to say whatever it is they need to say. Melody shows up, honey. Melody come up in that cat suit and glasses, but she also has a gift in hand. And I do like that about when Melody comes to somebody's event, she's always there with gift in hand, whether it's a glass of wine, whether it's something, but she makes sure, that's a good policy, good etiquette for being invited to a party. And she's excited for Nell as well. And so Tisha comes up to her. This is where everybody needs to send Tisha home. She comes up to her, telling her, take your glasses off. No, stop it. This is also a problem here. I wonder if I can pull my pointer out right here. Do you see Mel's face? Mel's face is saying, you are in my 3 feet of space. And Marceau is looking over to the side. The body language is Tisha's very drunk at this point. She is in Melody's face in her personal space. She keeps touching her hands and holding her arms and wrists. Look, when you hold my arms and wrists, I'm ready to fight because that's just a no-no. She keeps touching her and she's, grabbing her hands and said, you said you had something to say to Marceau. And Tisha said, I'll handle that at another time. There's a time and place for that. And not at somebody's party, Tisha. My goodness. Look at this. Kimmy got to come over here and grab the girl. It's just team too much for me. It's team too much for me. I got to look, y'all. If somebody's doing that, get them out the way. Just send them on home. Tisha was already turned at this point. Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, so they're all sitting in their little designated spot. You see everybody sitting down, chatting and everything, still waiting on Nell and all them. And I don't know, maybe the other people on the other side are y'all. It just look great. It just look a little empty in their room. That's all I'm saying. Tisha says she's going to post up in the corner so she hopes so that nothing might pop off. And Mel was like, nothing's gonna pop off. It's gonna be fun and positivity. Then the other couples come in. So you got them coming in like, hey y'all, hey. hey, how you doing? Hey, what's your name? Oh, hi, nice to meet you. Oh, I do know you. Oh, dap, dap, dap. Oh, hey, girl. Hey, how you doing? Oh, hey, hey, what's up, y'all? Happy birthday to the birthday girl. All of that. And so Maurice is like, oh, I do know them from the gym. They actually seem like a good match because I always tell them they have the best bodies in Huntsville. Amazing. Tisha over here with her hating self. How Nell gonna be late for her own party? Everybody looking at her real weird because look at this. Everybody like, what? What? How's she gonna be late for her own party? What? And so Mel says, because it's her party. Kimmy says she's supposed to be late. She can be late for her party. Put the cup down, Tisha. Put the cup down. Because everybody looking at you. You're being weird. I don't know. It's still not a lot of folk at this party. Maybe on the other. They may be on the other side. They may be on the other side. Here's the other thing before I talk about this. What was the dress code for this party? Because I saw church clothes, I saw club clothes, I saw club clothes, I saw after dark clothes, I see business casual, I see basketball. I don't know what's happening. But what is the dress code to this party? Because nobody seems to be matched. What is the dress code? Somebody please tell me what's the dress code. I don't know. Anyway, DJ makes the announcement, and of course, Nell walks in. She and Chris do their little whatever dance, honey. They is Liddy City, and everybody's cheering them on. And Nell says, "Hey, this is exciting for me because I haven't had a party since I was 40, and I'm guessing Nell is in her 50s. Maybe I'm thinking, okay, online it said 53, so I'm gonna just go with that. Um, and so her kids are having a party for her. So she excited and she needs to be excited. It's her birthday. You should always be excited. She greets the ladies, Chris greets the guys, and then the ladies sit down. Melody says, I told her, who told you to turn 20? And that's cute because she does look good. She absolutely looks good. Tisha gonna fix her face to say, you look about 30. I'm just saying, if you don't like somebody, don't come to their party. That's just, and I don't like that she's trying to pick up a mean girl attitude because she'll be the first one to cry when somebody says something sideways to her. Nell says, do we have to talk about age? Because, you being a little shady. And she, yes, we do. Look at Mel. Mel is like, please hush. Zip it. Zip it. It's unnecessary. And Tisha, what's she doing? Drinking some more. She said, you should be proud of it. No one wants to talk about it all the time, is what Nell says. But Tisha, stop it. But look at her knocking back drinks. Knocking back drinks. Drinks, drinks, drinks. Drinks, 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 drinks. Mel says in the confessional, though, that Tisha turned into Wonder Jr. with them drinks in hand. And that's true. They always say that liquor is truth serum, but it's also jerk serum. It turns you into a whole jerk. Some people just turn into a jerk. Some people are loving, and some people are whole jerks when they have liquor in hand. Anyway, the conversation turns to Tricia, and they ask her how is she related to Chris, and she says through her mom. Now I don't know if that means they cousins or they, I don't know. I don't know what that means, but there's a relation. He related to everybody. Let them tell it. They talk about her being a trainer and how she's helping Stormy meet her goals. They ask her if she's been a trainer uh, forever, and she shares that she started training after losing both parents within 7 months at the age of 55. They both were 55. And then her motto is be alive at 55. Then they talk a little bit about her situationship, which I wish she would just stop trying to over explain because it just doesn't make sense. And they say, are you married? She was like, I was. "No, okay, actually, I still am." And she does a terrible job of explaining what's going on. She says, I'm separated, but I have someone. So they were like, so is the guy over there the someone? And she like, yeah. And they was like, okay, word. Because what do you say? The guys say, um, they asking him the same thing. He said, well, he ain't married. And he said, when y'all getting married? That's his face. Because he don't know. He don't know. He don't know. Getting married. He just don't know. And they say, she got to tie some loose ends up. And it goes into her not being divorced yet. They just need a joint statement at this point. They need to say, hey, we're in a relationship. You know, we may get married a couple of years down the line. I don't think you need to keep explaining that you're separated and all that stuff. But, I guess it makes them feel better. Mel asked her, are you really over him? And she says, yes. So Nell says, send his ass them papers. What's the problem? What is the problem? They ask him, is there anything that you're missing? And he's like, there's always going to be something in the back of my mind, but I trust him. Okay. Maurice asks, can y'all not push that button, flip that switch? What is the problem? Courtney says, it's the husband, it's not her. Tricia needs to stop dragging her feet before this becomes bigger than it really is. And I think that she was okay with it, but now since the cameras are on it, that now this is kind of something that's pushing her to do what she needs to do. But honestly, just for the sake of the relationship, this should have been done already. Anyway, and I'm guessing unless it's just some financial support arrangement or something that's happening, I can't see why it's taking so long. So I agree with Maurice when he said, dude, you can get free in 5 years. You can get a divorce. She just need to get a lawyer. We're going to find out about this backstory because we know something's missing. So Tisha formally welcomes Tricia again, and she says, "Well, these girls are feisty." Nell says, "I think all of us are." She said, "These girls can be feisty." Nell says, "I think all of us are feisty." Tisha says, "Especially Nell," and she starts again. If y'all don't knock them drinks out of her hand, she is not good with drinks. This is what I've learned about her. She don't do well with drinks. Nell says, "Why do you say I'm feisty? 'Cause you feisty. Don't you think you're feisty?" "No, I do not." Nell and Mel are like, well, you being feisty right now. So Nell's like, let me set the record straight. I don't mess with anyone. I haven't done anything to these ladies. And that's true so far, what we've seen. She's not doing anything to anything. The only thing that may be still lingering is, having Kiki come to that thing. But, that's last season. So then you can see she's just bent on having a problem with somebody that day. And she's calling her Lernell and Melody. I'm just gonna have to call her that. She's like, no, my name's Mel. Lernell. Nell. And see, I would have not been as nice, even with cameras rolling. So Tisha, keeps going back and forth. And Nell tells her, you're doing the most. And she was like, I can. It's really time for her to go, because if you having that much of a problem with the birthday person, go home. Go home. Whoo, child. Anyway, so she was like, so what did I do to you? We can talk later. And Storm is like, why are you being weird? Again, why are you being weird? And she's like, I'm not being weird. It's so much stuff going on. Melody is like, look, leave me out of it. I don't want to be a part of it. Stormy was saying, why are you being weird? And she's like, I'm not being weird. Being weird is sending a text to the Galentine's celebration. And Stormy like, I'm sorry, you want me to retract it? I don't know what to tell you. Stormy said the last thing she said at the reunion was that she had respect for everyone there. Nell is like, y'all need to hash this out. They go back and forth. It's getting loud. And this is where the episode ends. And I am tired, y'all. But we're gonna see what happens in the next episode. But I think Tisha has a problem. And the problem is, let me put myself on the screen. The problem with Tisha is, I think, I'm going to lose my mic. I think the problem with Tisha a lot of times is that she sees a level of freedom in the other women that she doesn't have yet, because she's decided to be in the type of relationship she's in with Marceau. I think a lot of times she sees everyone else in these partnerships, and it seems like they're, partner values their opinions and all these things, and I guess maybe she feels like she's missing that, but she can have that if she would speak up for herself the way she speaks to other people and other women. Now, the other thing I noticed about her is, like, with Mel. Mel, what was going on with Mel in her relationship? It wasn't working. It just wasn't working. She was not going to sit for, the infidelity and everything, and that's fine. That didn't work for her. It wasn't going to work for her, but she seems to be upset that everyone else seems to be independently doing things on their own. That everybody has businesses and everything, and I just don't think that Margot should her as a boss. I don't know. She need to work on it. That's work. But anyway, we're gonna see what happens next week with this. This show make me tired, and I'm gonna try to do better next week as far as getting it out earlier. I be having to take breaks and think about it. Anyway, thank you all for watching. If you have anything to add, if you have any thoughts, please, 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 please put them in the comments. Also, remember to like, share, subscribe. I almost forgot. Like, share, subscribe this channel, this video. Y'all, I like to have fun. I'm not gonna be perfect with how I say things. I do just, I don't know. There's a lot going on. I want to say this too. Tisha is mad at Kiki, but Kiki ain't on camera, and I think she want to be. I'm gonna say it's my opinion that, because I don't know these people, but I think she also has a little problem with Kiki, and since Kiki isn't there for her to take her anger out on, that may be some of the problems too. I also want to say this. I see that people are talking about the ratings are dropping for the show, and it may be because people are just tired of the amount of animosity, the amount of negativity that happens in reality shows. We used to watch reality shows so we can get an idea of how people live and everything. Now everything is about conflict, and maybe the reason why a lot of the ratings are dropping for reality TV is because people are tired of conflict. It's just my thought. Carlos King, maybe change some things about that. I don't know. We want to see how people live. We want to see the fun stuff. We want to see trips. We want to see them buying stuff we can't afford yet. That's what we want. But now we're seeing everybody at odds, families being torn apart because of these shows. And I just think that we need to get back to the fun part of reality shows. That's just my thoughts. If y'all agree, disagree, let me know in the comments. Anyway, I got to get on and watch something else so I can review it and post it here for y'all. So, yeah. Y'all have fun. Y'all be good or be good at it. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.